I have to, man. Wait 1 minute. Hello? Yeah, all right, there we go. You know, every time there's a Windows update, every single time, it completely changes everything in OBS. Completely changes every setup I have. It changes my microphone audio, it changes the audio output, the audio input. It's an absolute nightmare, but we're done now. We're set. So let's just catch up with the chat. Denver, welcome back. I know you got some big moves to make. Denver, you're doing really well, aren't you, so far this season? Hi, Jonathan. How you doing, buddy? Welcome. Hey, Stephen. Welcome back, buddy. Oh, Neil back as usual. The man. Even though you're a Blackburn fan, I still like you, Neil. Hey, Roger. Welcome back, buddy. Brought in Semedo. It's time for a mega haul with FPL haul. Would you believe it? Krista as well. Welcome back, buddy. Good to see you as well. Very good Champions League fantasy back to FPL. And here we go. So I'll be explaining a few of the things and the decisions I've made and why I've made them. You'll see now that actually people have been wildcarding to get the Fantastic Four of Trent, Salah, Ronaldo, and Lukaku. It has cost me -4, but this move has potentially saved me from having to wildcard in game week 7. Now, a popular move people are making is to wildcard in game week 7. I myself was aiming towards that, but I said if I didn't need to play it, I wasn't going to play it. And with the money in the bank, and for anyone that has seen any of the stuff I've done so far this season on this channel or on Fantasy Football Scout or anything from preseason will know that I'm back defenders. 5 at the back was my initial thought of preseason, and then I felt as though that 4 at the back was the way to go because it was always too difficult to have 5 really good perfect defender fixtures like week in week out, right? But 4 solid really good ones with a good rotation option for that 5th if you wanted to go 4-4-2 or 5-3-2. And as you can see, again, I was 4-4-2 last week, and I'm 4-4-2 again this week. And with a couple of future transfers, it will possibly lead me towards more 4-4-2s and 5-3-2s, or a possible 4-3-3, something like that. So I'll go through all of that madness and explain what is going on. So it is another -4. I did say I wanted to take fewer hits this season. This is my 2nd hit of the season, but I'll go into why I've made this decision. And when I talked about stuff on the Scout about the potential replacements, I said that the one that I really wanted, who I'd have been delighted to just bring in, was Calvert-Lewin. I would have brought in Calvert-Lewin ahead of Ronaldo because I was worried about his injury, and then obviously Calvert-Lewin doesn't go ahead and play. People were worried about Bamford and stuff, but we'll get into all that. Let me just catch up with the chat. So, Chris, I don't play Champions League fantasy football because for me, I never get to watch the Champions League football because it's always like 3 or 4 a.m. my time, so I wouldn't be very particularly good at it. Best 2-week striker already have Bamford and Ronaldo. I think Richarlison is a decent shout because isn't it Norwich next week? But I mean, if we're talking budget limitless and you don't have Traore, I'd go for Jimenez. And I'll explain why I haven't gone for Jimenez. And it's because, one, I didn't want to triple up on Wolves. I'm happy with Traore and Cody. If I didn't have Traore, I would have gone for Jimenez. So I do believe in Wolves. I think defensively, in defense and attack, they're way up there with the stats and how they're performing. But I don't want to go double Wolves attack when they haven't like scored enough yet. Also, I'm keeping my eye on Hwang, the Bull, the Korean that they've signed who came on and scored. Because if he ends up, if they go to a 4-2-3-1 with Jimenez as a one up front, but they play Hwang at 5.5, he could be an absolute tasty 3rd striker or rotational bench option with a defender. What team does sport Bolton Wanderers? Is it just get on Chelsea assets and off Manchester United for game week 7? So here you go, Neil. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't believe. So you can see I've got Ronaldo. The common move. So if you guys don't, I'm sure you watch a lot of other YouTube videos or you follow lots of Twitter accounts, but the common plan is to go from United to Chelsea, from Ronaldo to Lukaku, from Shaw to James, and so on. That's why a lot of people wildcard, because Chelsea's fixtures and Manchester City's fixtures, but specifically Chelsea's fixtures, take a huge swing into the green. And obviously, you can see I already have one, and I will be working towards 2, possibly 3. 2 defenders and Lukaku, but I might not have to wildcard for it because I've taken a hit now. And I said in game week 2 as well that I actually see Chelsea winning the league this season. That's as simple as that. I just think as a whole squad they're solid, but I think they're so good defensively. So I know they play Manchester City next game week, but haven't they beaten them like in the last 4 matches or something, and they beat them in the Champions League final and stuff? So there's a big mental aspect to that game. And Thomas Tuchel's beaten Pep Guardiola back to back at the minute. So I'm not scared to bring in the Chelsea assets early against a Spurs side who were routed by Palace pre-red card. They weren't doing well. They've got a makeshift defense, and Lukaku. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to say right now. I got bashed when I even suggested last week and the week before, or this week and last week and the week before, when I suggested that there are some times in the Premier League where Lukaku might not play, might get a rest. I don't think this is one of those times because Spurs is a rival. They need to beat them. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but I swear to God, if Lukaku gets benched for this game week, I'm going to be absolutely fuming. If I see one more comment that ever pans me for suggesting that Lukaku might miss a couple of Premier League games when the fixtures get a bit much and they can take a break, I will not be best pleased. Denver, should I roll a transfer or bring in Bamford? I got a strong gut feeling about Bamford with Hall big tonight. Team posted in Discord, rate my team, take your time. Thank you very much. Yeah, you guys can join the Discord. Sorry, my brain's fried. I've worked the last 11 out of the last 12 days. We've got a 4-day holiday coming up now, which is fantastic, but obviously that doesn't help how I feel right now. Let me just get an invite and I'll post it into chat. Expires never. Generate a link, copy that. So if you guys, I'm terrible at Discord. I'm trying to get better, right? But if you guys join the Discord, you want to chat, share. The great thing I think about this channel and the people are always coming back here is they're really friendly. You can have your rivalries, you can have your disagreements, but everyone's respectful. And if anyone is not respectful of each other, I just ban them. This isn't a huge channel. I'm not bothered about numbers. I'm bothered about the quality of the people in the chat, in the community, in the Discord. So it's a safe place to come in. And if people are getting like aggressive or being personal and stuff like that, you can say like, "Oh, you've chosen Lukaku. That's terrible. Oh, I think that he should be." That's perfectly fine. Completely, you have every right to disagree with that. But there's no one allowed in the community where it gets like personal and aggressive, and that's why I think this is a great community. So I'll check that out in a minute, Denver. Denver, just post as well, what is your rank at the minute? Because I can't remember what it is. He has 0.6 in the bank. Rolling a transfer. So, how can I share this? Can I just do that? Oh, look at that. I can just drag it. All right, I think I've just like hacked the system. So Denver's got, for those of you that can't see, because people have left comments saying, oh, it might be a bit small, you're on a cell phone, you're listening. So he's got Raya, Shaw, Tierney, Alexander-Arnold, Jota, Salah, Torres, Gray, Greenwood, Ronaldo and Antonio. If Antonio doesn't play, he's going 4-5-1 and Cody goes off the bench. That's fine. Now, I had some banter with Ted Talks FPL, because people have been saying, oh, you're going to play 4 at the back, 4 defenders, that's so bad. But so many people are playing a 4-5-1 this week and benching Antonio. So I'll be looking a little bit more smug today. Would I roll the transfer? Well, here's the thing. When people do rate my teams or ask for suggestions, it's tough for me to not just give you the advice or suggestion that I've done. So I can't sit here and say, yeah, bench Antonio, come back next week. It depends when you're going to wildcard, and it depends how you want to attack it. I've sold Antonio, and I've sold him for -4. So, I mean, obviously my suggestion would be to sell him. But if you've got 0.6 in the bank, so you can't really go up to a higher tier player without a hit like Lukaku, like I have done. But I also, you don't have any Wolves players, so maybe if you've got 0.6 in the bank, right, Denver, you got 0.6 in the bank. I had Antonio at 7.5, and he went all the way up right to 8, but he's starting to drop down. For me, it might just be worth for 1 week to go to Jimenez, or to, because you don't have any Wolves players, or well, a defender but a Wolves attacker, or go to Bamford. And then if he doesn't tickle your fancy, if he's not doing well, get Antonio in again next week. And just hope you don't have any other yeah, it's a risky play, I'm not going to say, but so many people are playing 4-5-1, they're going to play 4.5 million midfielders, or they're going to do this, that, and whatever. But you've got money in the bank, so you could just sell them and buy them back. That is a potential possibility. If you're going to wildcard soon, I would just attack. Because that's why I'm being a little bit, I don't want to say reckless, but that's why I'm being a little bit more attacking pre-wildcard, because I've always got that in my back pocket. I've always got that ability to just, okay, it's all gone wrong. My team's a mess. I've got no bench. I've got 9 men playing wildcard. So that's just my opinion. People are like, oh, you're going to lose 0.2 million in your value. It's like, yeah, but Antonio is definitely going to get 0 points for this game week. He's definitely getting 0 points. So Cody will come on. That is not too bad. But if there's other people you start in 11, you think, oh, I don't really want to start that guy this week. When you could have started Bamford, you could have started Jimenez, and then just get Antonio back in next week. It all depends on your opinion on value. And for me, if you bring in Bamford and he gets you 12 points, and then you sell him again for Antonio, you've basically paid 0.2 million but got 12 points rather than 0. But that is just obviously my opinion. But that's it, Denver. You see, you got a strong gut feeling about Bamford. And with such high ownership, he was 40+%. And a lot of people are benching. We'll see. I personally am not backing that, and I will get onto why I've gone for Lukaku when I've caught up with the chat. Can the wildcard wait till week 14? Well, and this is it, Neil. I'm not planning to now. What I always penciled in wildcard game week 7 because that's when or game week 8 because that's when the Chelsea City fixtures turn. But if you're looking strong, you're not desperate, don't pencil it in. Be attacking. That's my plan. My plan is to just keep attacking and attacking and attacking until I need to change 5-6 players and I want to attack it in a new kind of way. So that's how I'm going for it. Jonathan also going for 5 at the back for this game week. Till the fixtures go a bit bad, then you'll rotate. Yeah, big fan of 4 defenders, and it seems as though when people want the Fantastic Four in, you're going to have to go 4-4-2, or 4-3-3, or 5-3-2. But certainly my wildcard will be a 4-4-2, 5-3-2, potentially even 4-3-3 situation. Because I've not been wowed. I've not been wowed by these mid-priced midfielders. You know, you've got your cheaper ones like I've got Barnes, who I still believe in. I still think he's got it. I mean, he has just got a goal and assist in Europe against Napoli. So please do that in the Premier League for me now, Barnes. And I benched him, and I've kept hold of him because you have a look. He's got Brighton, Burnley, and Palace in the next 3, which he's got. So this is another reason why I took the hit, and I'm attacking now, because these players, and I know Simicast is in there, but next game week, Sufal goes back in. I could play the exact same 11 for the next 3 to 4 game weeks, and all my guys will have good fixtures. All my guys will have good fixtures. Let me catch up with the chat and explain. You're going for 5-4-1 at the moment for this game week. No transfers at the moment. So are you banking it, Neil? You've already got Marcel Trincao, no. Gray, though. I wouldn't back Gray. I'll tell you my transfer plans later. I don't want to repeat it, but I'll go through my team after we go through yours. You went for Semedo and Jimenez. Good. No problem there. Ronaldo and Lukaku guaranteed 20+ goals a season. Let's hope so. Hey, Sparta, welcome back, buddy. Triple Wolves, double defense and a striker. Now, that's fine. Could do size to Semedo on a wildcard against Everton. So, Jonathan, that is fine. So, for me, I'm going to probably go 2 Chelsea defenders and Lukaku. So, I think double defense and 1 attacker is fine. I didn't bring in Jimenez because I didn't want 2 of the attackers. Not yet, anyway. So, yeah, Denver, 65k doing absolute solid work, man. So, if you want to hold, bench Antonio and just play 4-5-1 or 5-4-1, right? But if you want to attack it, sell him and bring him back. Because you got 0.6 in the bank, right? So, yeah, it might cost you 0.2 in a transfer. And you'll be... The negative side, if you get injuries or suspensions, you can't bring Antonio back in straight away. But that's the gamble, right? Hey, Jordy Kev, how you doing? You're struggling with your DCL replacement, Jimmy versus Bamford. We will look at strikers in a minute. We'll go into it. Had Antonio from the start, same as me, but you went Bamford because I know he will haul. That was your wildcard team. Well, Denver, you've answered your own question. If you believe Bamford is going to haul, you believe Bamford is going to get you points, there's your answer. Hey, Sean, welcome back, buddy. Good to see you, mate. Jimenez or Richarlison for the next 2 weeks. I'll stick with the same answer. If you don't have a Wolves... who did you say you had? You've already got Marcel and Trincao. Then I wouldn't go for Jimenez. You've already got Trincao, so I would maybe suggest Richarlison. I know they've got Norwich next week, but I need to check. I want to see slightly longer term fixtures for Everton. They've got Villa away. Not too bad. Norwich, then United, then West Ham. If it's only for 2 weeks, Villa Norwich, I think is good. And if Cavalier was going to be out, I don't think that's too bad. But I personally still think Wolves have got to start getting more goals. They're doing everything right. Seriously, they're doing everything right except sticking it in the back of the net, which is obviously the most important thing. How many points do I reckon Jota get? I'll tell you right now, I'm not even scared of Jota, guys. I'm not. And people keep saying, well, Simicast has blocked me getting Diogo Jota. I'm not bothered. I'm not. Yeah, I think he'll do well, and I think he'll score a goal, but just not nailed. And it's the same reason why I'm not bothered about Greenwood, and I'm not bothered about Torres. Torres has been the biggest surprise to me, and Ben Rama, because I've been trying to learn more and always trying to improve as a manager, right? And one of the key things that managers have said, especially the greatest manager of all time, Fabio Borges, says it's not just stats, it's long-term stats. Torres has got 1 haul this season, and that's it. He's done nothing he played up front in the other matches as well, and didn't do anything. And he just played a part in a 6-goal Man City side and didn't get a goal or assist. Why people think he's like the best thing since sliced bread, I've got no idea. But Diogo Jota and the likes of Greenwood, it's paying 7 to 8 million on players that are just not nailed. I would rather play like a 5-3-2 or 4-4-2 with a really great backline who probably play 90 minutes every week. Let's say you go Trent, double Chelsea, double City defense, right? That Chelsea and City defense are probably going to get you 18 to 20 clean sheets a season, a boring 6-pointer every other week. But that's still better than just praying that a 7 to 8.5 million midfielder comes on and gets you points every week. That, again, that's just my opinion. That's just where I go. I know 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 are popular formations in the past. I've loved the 3-5-2, but I look at the price. So I've sold Grealish and Antonio, and I've had Grealish all season. Man City attack spreads the points out, but what I'm trying to say is I'm not wowed by the midfielders so far this season. And the defenders it just seems the best value. Why have a 7 or 8 million Jota rather than a 5 or 6 million or even double Liverpool defense, Trent and Robbo or whatever at the back, who play week in, week out and get clean sheets and potential points up front? Again, it all comes down to people play a bit different ways. Like people who are number 1, number 2, number 3, or top 10 in the world, some of them will never have had Salah so far this season. Some of them will have not played a chip. Some of them will have already played their triple captain. Some of them were playing. I kept being smug, and I was just like, people were bashing me about 5 or 4-man defense formations. And 3 out of the 4 game weeks, it's been a 5 at the back or a 4 at the back formation for team of the week and manager of the week that hasn't played a chip like bench boost or triple captain. So there's no answer to that, right? If most game weeks 4 or 5-man defenses are the best possible players to have, why are more people not doing it? But we'll see. How many points will I get? Jota will get though. Yeah, he might get a goal. Fine, but I think Trent can match him. If Simicast plays, come on, Simicast. I think he can match him. We'll just have to wait and see. Because a clean sheet. That's another thing I love about defenders. Keep a clean sheet, you get 6 points. If you post your... I can't read Arabic. So if you want to post your team, you can post it. And we can have a quick look if we have time. Sean says, Antonio out for Bamford. For me, was your plan too to drop more pay for Bamford this week, but Antonio red card has changed it for me. Yeah, it will have. Silly red card. Didn't look like he was doing well anyway. Got sent off at the end of the game. This isn't like a 30-minute red card. I mean, he did play 90 minutes effectively. Should you transfer out Antonio for Jimenez if you're wildcard in 7? I believe so. I'd be a hypocrite if I said no and I sold Antonio, because I have sold Antonio. You're going Trent, James, Pereira, Tierney as your back 4. And then so that is a good, solid back 4. Now, if your 5th defender is a good rotation, every week, FPL West Live, you're going to go in and think, I believe in my defenders to get a possible clean sheet. If you're wildcard in 7, for sure you would 100% transfer out now. Okay, good. Neil thinks the same as me. Hey, Aaron, welcome back, buddy. You're having a risky go this week. 4-4-2 with Dennis up top against Norwich as a differential. Wish you luck. Yeah, good luck, mate. Oh, you're going to need it. I mean, it's Watford, but to be fair, Watford, Norwich. They've got one of the teams have got to go out there and win, because if they don't, they're already basically relegated. I feel like, yeah. Defending against this week, you still have Mahrez and Benrahma, and also Gibbs White, who has left. Yeah, Neil, that ain't good, buddy. I said before though, Neil, depending on how you feel about Chelsea and how fearless or feared you are of Manchester City, I'm interested to see your team, Neil. I'm not too sure what it is at the minute, but having a slightly earlier wildcard to bring in the players could be an option if you're not feeling comfortable. I wouldn't be rushing to take out Benrahma. He'll play against United and then a couple of good fixtures, like against Leeds after that. But we'll have to see. Mahrez for Gallagher and Antonio for Lukaku, or Mahrez for Gray and Parika for Bamford, both for a hit. Gallagher's been fantastic, but he's got Liverpool, so if you're going to have to play him, it's going to be tough. If it's long-term, I would say Mahrez for Gallagher, Antonio for Lukaku. If you're going to wildcard soon and probably get Lukaku in anyway, I'd just do Mahrez and Gray and Perico. I don't know why you need to take out like Mahrez. What happens if he plays? That's always the problem with Manchester City. You just don't know who is going to play. I'd have to know the rest of the team. I can't make a suggestion just on those 2 transfers. I don't like the idea of that hit. Don't like the idea of bringing in Gallagher, who plays Liverpool, involved in a hit. So Sean, Luka Dean, Pereira are all issues at the back. It's not looking good, Neil. I'm not going to lie to you, mate. Hi, Matt. Welcome back, buddy. Not sure about Antonio out, but Lukaku got a pick. You got him in last week and captained him. Yeah, but I've got Ronaldo as well, buddy. You and Rafinha may be out. Harrison contracted Blovid. I imagine that means COVID? That means James may start. But go for James. I've also seen these very, very new rumours that Rafinha could be out. If he is, I think we're all in trouble. So I'm not actually that worried about it, because a lot of us have got Rafinha, right? So that's just the way it is. But with some people on Twitter, they are saying that actually it is on the forums, and at the minute it's just pure rumour. Pure rumour. So just wait for press conferences, guys. There's going to be, remember the deadline is What time is the deadline? 1:30 a.m. my time. 12, 1. About 4 hours or so. You're not going to lose any more money, so just give it a couple more hours, guys. Don't go crazy. Don't be like, oh my god, someone said, you know, Rafinha and Harrison are out. I'm going to wild card right now with 2 hours to go. Just hang about, wait for those press conferences. Keeping Mahrez for one more week, you think, and then it's for me. Yeah, and that's it. It's patience as well. That's why I'm not interested in getting rid of Mahrez for a hit against Southampton when he could play and do extremely well. Because when Mahrez plays, he is right up there as a top quality FPL asset. It's just that if he plays, you can say I've still got Barnes. I've taken the price falls. I still believe he's going to be a good asset. He just needed some time, so we'll see. I wouldn't be keen selling Mahrez for a hit. I'd maybe swapping just straight down to Jota if you can, or another player if you can, but I'm not interested in hits. Would you be moving out Shaw? Potentially, yeah. For Shaw would go to Reece James, and Tsimikas will go to Christensen, and then I don't have to wild card. But that's possible. I'll show you some of the suggestions and ideas I've got. You don't see the point in getting rid of him to play you're stuck. Yes, heard Son is on the men. Think he'll play. No idea, Steven. I don't want to try and put any fuel on the fire on stuff. Again, just wait for the press conferences. Deadline is just after Bielsa speaks 30 minutes later. Oh my god, that is just the worst. All right, so try and find some trusted Twitter accounts. But it is what it is, guys. Like, if you find out tonight or like after the deadline that they're out, that's the way it is. That's not your fault. You made the call. You didn't have the information. It's not your fault. Thoughts on Maximan for the next two? No, Matt. Great player. I think he's a lovely man. He's very nice on social media. I just don't back Newcastle, to be honest with you. Sarr in goal. Good. Trent, good. Sure, fine. Pereira, yeah. Lucatine's not actually as bad as you think. Williams, yep. Salah, Jota, Mahrez, Benrahma, Lukaku up top. Antonio is out. I think, yeah, if you've just got bench fodder, you might have to maybe sell Antonio for a week, but it's your call, buddy. You've actually got Rodrigo on your score, so starting him with Antonio on the bench, of course. Oh, well, then that's fine. If you've got a good enough player on your bench, let's say you've got a Gray, the Everton player, Gray on your bench, right? Or even like a Wolves defender. I've got Cody, right? Say Cody was on my bench. I would have kept hold of Antonio probably for a week and played Cody. Like, I think Denver is in the same situation, right? But I don't know what the rest of the defense was. I can't remember. If you've got someone on your bench who you think can get something, I think that's fine. But if you're looking at your bench and you're like, oh God, like he's away at City and he's away at, you know, Chelsea, and you know, like, oh God, this is a nightmare. Then you're throwing away a player for a week, in my opinion. But someone like Rodrigo coming in off your bench for Antonio, I think is perfectly fine. Sure, thoughts on Cancelo could be rotated this week. Again, I say this every week. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what's going to happen with Manchester City, because I think anyone who does is a liar. Because there's no telling if Cancelo's going to play. Cancelo could play every single minute of the entire season, or he could get benched and we won't see him till game week 12. We have no idea. He did play a full 90. I would be worried. If I was on a wild card, I would just get Diaz. Even Laporte is a nice price, but if you're really thinking I want a Man City defender, yes, the upside of Cancelo is extremely high, but I just get Diaz, and I'm boring. Get me 6 points every week. I don't care. If I tell you, okay, guys, this week I've got a score of 75, and you look at my defense and I've got like 6, 6, 5, 6, you're not going to sit there and go, oh, God, that's boring. He's got loads of FPL points. Hey, Rudy, how you doing, buddy? No worries, mate. Yeah, I saw your Twitter messages. No problem, buddy. Hopefully it works out well. Your thoughts? Lukaku as good choice for captain because of Spurs. Yes, he's a great choice. But Sam, if you've not seen a lot of the stuff I've had before, I'm not going to say I'm big on effective ownership, but for me, Lukaku's ownership, you can see, is 29.9%. Salah's ownership is 55%. He's at home against Crystal Palace, which is a favor. I know they did well against Spurs last week, but it's a very favorable fixture. Chelsea going to Spurs with the way that Spurs are right now, and it's at Spurs, and Nuno can. They did win 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and they beat Man City 1-0. So again, if you captain Lukaku and you've got Salah, you want Salah to fail. And for me, there is no point in having a player in your side who's going to be so heavily owned, so heavily captained, that you're going to pray that he gets sent off, basically. Like, Antonio getting sent off for me last week helped. And he was my player. Like, that's just crazy. So if you captain Lukaku, do I think he's a good option? Yes. But bear in mind that you're going to spend the whole time hoping your 12.5... Is it 12.5? 12.6 now. Hoping your 12.5 million midfielder blanks. Or at least doesn't do as well as Lukaku. But Salah's effective ownership this week is surely going to be like 150% if you're at a decent rank. If you're in like the top million or something like that, who's not suggesting captaining Salah? He's stand out at home, Crystal Palace. That was a very direct no for St. Maximin. I don't mess around, Matt. Simple as that. So how bad would it be with just going Gibbs White to Gilmore to give you a playing bench up to 14? Now, why Gilmore? Now, I've chosen Brownhill. And after I finish these messages, I'm going to explain everything I've done this week. Dul Diaz gets the numbers. Exactly, Swanee. And that's the thing, right? Who cares? Who actually cares? If your defenders, they get me clean sheets all the time. Who cares, right? If they get you points, that is the most important thing. If Lukaku's on penalties and he scores 20 penalties and 1 normal goal, I don't care. Right? Who does? No one. Look at Bruno Fernandes. I don't want to be all like, Penaldes or whatever. But when he was on penalties and Manchester United got penalties and he scored penalties and he was your captain, you didn't care. You saw 12 points, 15 points, 20 points, and you smiled and you had a lovely FPL week. Spurs missing a number of players, but you don't see Chelsea something more likely professional 1-0, 2-0. Completely agree, Matt. Completely agree. They were awful against Palace. Remember, Sanchez wasn't playing, and is it Romero, the new centre-back? So even though they're unlikely to have Dyer and Tanganga's suspended, they do actually have 1 or 2 defenders coming back. So it's not like all the defenders are out and they've got like an 18-year-old youth player coming in. So they do have some, but yeah, I completely agree. I don't think Chelsea are the kind of team that if they go 1 or 2 up, they're going to be like, right, we know Spurs like to counter. We're just going to dominate possession. Give it Jorginho, give it Kovacic, give it Kante if he's fit or whoever. We're going to have 70% of the possession. We're going to walk away with a 2-0 win. Another clean sheet. Thank you very much. Score predictions, the end. You base your teams according to this. That is dangerous. I've not even checked how well I've been doing, Denver, if I'm honest. I think I've been half decent. You reckon Lukaku gets something, but not a good captain's pick? Good. Yeah, I agree, Matt. I think he'll get a goal. And if he gets me a goal, I'm happy. He's paid me back. So let's have a look at what I did and why I did it. So you can see at the minute, I've got Brownhill as my first sub. He came in on that -4 and Soufal because I think United are going to score. And if he goes ahead and gets an assist. So I'm just having an absolute punt here, guys, with Tsimikas playing. I have no inside information. I have nothing but hopes and dreams about this man playing. And it's purely because Robertson played a lot of international football. He started the season injured. Tsimikas debuted extremely well. Liverpool have got a couple of difficult games coming up. They've just done the Champions League. I just thought maybe, just maybe, for one game, Tsimikas might come in and give Robertson a break. It's extremely unlikely. It's very likely that Brownhill or Soufal will come off the bench. I'm leaning towards Brownhill because I think he's on some corners. And I just think United are going to score against Soufal. And then I'm banking on a Soufal assist. And with no Antonio in the box, he might stick it on Souček's head. But we know I'm clutching at straws there. I'd rather have a cheeky go with Brownhill coming off the bench, and he ends up, you know, getting an assist off a corner against a pretty shocking Arsenal team. I know Burnley haven't been great, but if he plays, I'd rather go for the attacking player over the defensive player in this situation, because I just think United will score. It's as simple as that. So Grealish has gone out, and I think he might punish me, but I'm hoping he just doesn't play, and then I'll be satisfied, because that means it's worth it. Because Antonio isn't going to play. And then in comes Brownhill, and there is Lukaku. So, transfer thoughts as to why I did this now. By making this move now, I'm fearless in the fact that I think Lukaku could get something against City, and there's nothing wrong with getting him on early. And I'm not doing a Ronaldo to Lukaku situation. I've got both of them, and I'm happy with the rest of my team. I have 0.1 in the bank. I can do a very simple one transfer next week. Tsimikas out, Livramento in, and I've got a solid back four again. It would be Trent, Shaw, Soufal, Cody in a 4-4-2 for the next 3 game weeks. Save my transfers, get to game week 7, game week 8, and then I can start getting Chelsea and City players in. No wild card required. I could wait a couple of weeks, and what I could do is Barnes could go out after 2 or 3 game weeks, because like I said, Barnes, you see he has Brighton, Burnley, Palace, and then United in game week 8. So by game week 8, he would be out. And then we would go for either a Gallagher at Crystal Palace or a Doucouré at Everton. But just for now, let's just stick in Gallagher. And then I've got 1.3. And that 1.3 million allows me to do something like Shaw to Reece James, and then Tsimikas to Christensen. And I've still got 0.2 in the bank. If I didn't want to double up, so you can see it, my back four pretty much every week would be Trent, Christensen, James, and Soufal or Cody, whoever has the better fixture. Likely going to be these 4. Or I play all 5 of them, and I go with a midfield 3 between Rafinha, Gallagher, Salah. So Salah plays every week, and then I rotate Traore, Gallagher, Rafinha. Rafinha has a very good run with Leeds, so it's likely going to be a rotation of Gallagher and Traore. Traore also has a good run, so it'll be Gallagher, basically. I'll be choosing every week who plays Gallagher or a defender. And then up front every week, I just play Lukaku and Ronaldo. Another way I could do this is if I just put this back down to Livramento, and I just have 1 Chelsea defender and 1 Chelsea attacker. Here is Mr. Livramento. I have 1.1 million in the bank. And Parika goes to a hopeful of mine. And that's Hwang at Wolves. And then, as you can see, I've got 5 playing defenders. I have 5 playing midfielders, but Brownhill would be like my last sub. And then I've got 3 playing attackers. And then every week I get to choose who plays between the likes of Livramento, Gallagher, and Hwang. If I can pull in another 0.4 million, I might not get James. I might just get Christensen. I might downgrade Soufal to a 4.5. And Hwang would become Armstrong at Southampton, because I still think for 6 million, and when the fixtures get good, I think Armstrong could be a very, very good player. So Soufal can go to a decent 4.5. Let's just go to Spurs for a second, and let's just get Sanchez as an example. And it would look something like this. That's if I don't play a wild card. If I play a wild card, I could tell you 100 different kind of drafts, because that's what a wild card is. But that is just some examples of thinkings that I'm having over the next 4 to 5 game weeks. So there you have it. So the important one will be probably if I want to go bigger with at the back, potentially, then next week I don't do anything. I play pretty much the exact same team I played this week, but Tsimikas out, Soufal in. I save a transfer, and I just go Barnes to Gallagher and Barnes to Gallagher, and then Tsimikas to Christensen. And then the week after that, Shaw to Reece James. Just make sure that works out. Gallagher goes in here. Tsimikas, Shaw out. And we go to Chelsea. And we double up on their defense. Christensen and Reece James. You can see 0.2 million in the bank. So this is what I will potentially look like in 3 game week's time, and in 3 game weeks' time, 1, 2, 3. Game week 7 against Southampton. This would be my team. And people might think, well, Christensen might get rotated. This is entirely true. But look at my defense. If I play 4-4-2, Trent, Christensen, James, Soufal, Christensen doesn't play. I got Cody coming off the bench. And Wolves have got fixtures up until week 15, 16, where I'm a little bit, that's not ideal. But that's 10 game weeks away, right? So for the next 10 game weeks, I'm fine with Cody in and out of my team. So if Christensen gets his rotation, people might just say, but on a wild card, I'd be Rudiger James, right? That would be my point. But no wild card. This is how I could look in the next 3 weeks. So yeah, there you go. So that's why I went for Lukaku, essentially. It helps me postpone wildcard if I need to. I think he's a top quality FPL option because he's a top FPL striker. You look at my team, I've got Ronaldo, Lukaku, Salah, and Trent. But the rest of my team, I don't feel that it's weak. Just ignore Simicast, right? Simicast is the punt. Just for argument's sake, right? Just for now. Let me just do this. So when people look at my starting 11, they don't think I'm taking the Michael, right? So this team, for the next few weeks, all have good fixtures. Not this week, Soufal, Simicast, all right? Okay, just ignore that part. So I'm comfortable going in with this team pretty much every week. And I don't feel like, oh no, I've got Cody playing because this week he's got Brentford, then he's got Southampton and Newcastle. All right, that's actually not too bad. Oh no, got Rafinha playing. He's not done that well. Leeds looking shaky. Okay, he's got Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves, Norwich. I'm happy with this. Barnes, he's been terrible. He's not done anything. Well, he's got Brighton, Burnley, and Palace in the next 3. So, yeah. So by bringing in Lukaku now and not settling for a player I didn't want, I'm not forced to play a wild. I still could play a wild card in game week 7 or game week 8. I could. But I'm not forced to do so. And I'm not forced to sell Ronaldo for Lukaku before game week 7. I've got both of them. And their ownership is low enough. This is worrying me now. 42.2% is worrying me now. So if I'm wildcarding in game week 7, it's like, or game week 8, it's potentially to take out Ronaldo if we start seeing effective ownership every week at like 120%. And I'm not going to captain him. Because similar to the reason why I didn't start the season with Bruno, if Ronaldo bangs every single week, then I'll stick the armband on him. You know, if it proves that he is the Ronaldo he still is, and he's getting a goal every week, and he's getting 3 bonus, and he's double-digit haul every single week, then yeah, I'll probably stick the armband on him. I'll be braver with the armband. But, I mean, you look at you can see why people are going to sell Ronaldo for Lukaku, because Leicester away, Liverpool at home, Spurs away, City at home. Watford's nice, and then Chelsea away is not a nice run of fixtures. And if it's someone that you're not going to captain, who's 12.5 million, who's over 40% owned, who's probably going to have effective ownership higher than 100%, then it's not worth it. But if I'm playing and I look at my rank and, you know, he's not a spy in my team who's working against me, then I'll keep him because he's quality. And it's the same for like Lukaku. He's 30%. If his points get me points, I'll keep him. If not, I'll take a punt elsewhere. That's the way I'm trying to play it. So my arrows will be nice and big and green, and my red arrows will be huge. Absolutely huge. If Ronaldo is week in, week out, 120% effective ownership against me, and I sell him, and he bangs every single week, it's going to hurt me. Unless whoever I bring in beats him. So, anyway, long story short, that's why. That explains everything. Helps me save the wild card. Lukaku's a top option. His ownership still isn't as worryingly high as other players. And I didn't want to double up. Jimenez is a good option. I still like it. I still like the Wolves team. I think they've been really hard done by. But I didn't want to have both attacking players. So if you don't have Traore, take a punt on Jimenez. I don't fancy Bamford. I just don't. I know people are saying he's putting up the same numbers as last season, but all that tells me is Now, this might be an unpopular opinion, but all that tells me is I think he got luckier last season. I don't think that he's echoing last season with his stats proves that he's unlucky now. I feel as though that he's posting the similar stats this season to last season, but last season he got luckier. That's it. The Leeds, I've got Rafinha because he's the talisman. He has these explosions of top quality football. Yes, Bamford could get something. If you think he'll get something, then go for him. I personally did not want to double down on a Leeds attack in a Leeds team that hasn't done anything for me. It's not tickled my fancy. Wolves, I've watched them and I've thought, oh, how have they not got 2 or 3 goals here? I have not felt that for Leeds, so why would I double up on their attack? But again, it's the same situation. If you have no Leeds attackers, try for Bamford. But the one player I really wanted to bring back into my team was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I didn't bring him in last week because we weren't too sure about his big toe. Now it looks like his thigh was done, and then next news, he's broken his big toe, and it's 2 or 3 weeks out. So that's why I just jumped ahead and went for Lukaku. So similar to what I talked about on Monday with Ted, just the best options to replace them are Bamford, Jimenez, and it was Calvert-Lewin before he got injured. And then my argument on that video was use Antonio as a make weight to downgrade and put money elsewhere, or to downgrade somewhere and bump Antonio up. And that's exactly what I've done. I bumped Antonio up because I didn't want to settle. It was simple as that. I didn't want to say, all right, I'll bench him and I'll play a 5-4-1 for a game week. Because I've still got my wild card. If it all goes terrible, I can just be like, right, bam, wild card, Antonio back in, let me sort this mess out. I didn't want to have a game week where I'm like, oh, it's not going to be a good one for me, this is going to be really, really tough. Like, attack, just go for it. Have a gander, have a bash. Okay. Debating Gray or Benrahma. You have both. Your thoughts on either. Who would I play? I'd play Gray. Just before Norwich fixtures up to 14 when I think of wildcard in. Just prefer Norwich. I just don't prefer Norwich, Neil. I think it's as simple as that. You like Brownhill though. Yeah, so Gilmore and also Brownhill, I think he's on corners. So just him lumping it in the box to me or Tarkowski or whoever massive is in the box for Burnley. I just fancy him getting a cheeky assist off a corner. Was a lovely goal by Grealish. You're doing Ronaldo to Lukaku in game week 8 instead of 7. Yeah, it's a really common move, and I can't fault it. The template at the start of this FPL season was spot on. It absolutely was spot on. So I'm not going to be surprised in game week 7 or game week 8, the Ronaldo to Lukaku move is going to be spot on again. You like the whole 15, no flags and no real fodder as you choose the bench order. You mean your team? Then yeah, go for it. Barnes has a great record versus Burnley. I'm not a huge fan of that stat, Jonathan. Like, the thing with stats against Burnley is it feels like they've had the same team for the last 20, 30 years, right? They rarely change, so that is good. But Leicester have been the worst in terms of, like, attempts. Like, literally bottom. Literally the worst team in terms of, like, shots. So it's worrying. But hopefully a couple of goals against Napoli will bump them up a bit. But we'll see. That's next weekend. It's Brighton away this week. Considering you've got the 4 big hitters, the rest team is still decent. Exactly, Matt. And a lot of people, I'm going to put Simicast back in because I know I'll forget and I'll play see if I get Manchester United. I'll be very sad. Oh, I'd have to save it because it's already saved. Let me just go like this so people see my bench and don't think I'm nuts just playing Simicast. And a lot of people will be wildcard into something similar. I keep saying as well, I look at my team and I make wildcard drafts like every week just for fun. Just, oh, if I were wildcarding this week, what would I have? But then when I look at the 11 that's playing, I think no one's got a bad fixture. I know some of my players are against each other. That's always going to happen. Some of your players are going to play against some of your players. I mean, that's football, right? They have to play against someone, and you've got a squad of 15. But every week recently, I look at and that's why I said for the next 3 or 4 weeks, my 4-4-2s or Sufal comes in for Simicast. The entire 11 are apart from Raya, but he's the goalkeeper. They have good fixtures. I'm happy. Lukaku's got City next week, but I trust him to do something. I believe he has the ability to do something against Manchester City. But the next 3 games for Liverpool, Palace, Brentford, and then City. But it's Trent. Wolves, Brentford, Southampton, Newcastle. Belief. United, West Ham, Villa, Everton. Should be wins for United. Newcastle, West Ham, Watford for Rafinha. Brighton, Burnley, Palace for Leicester. I've already done United. And Chelsea, of course, have Spurs, City, and then that good green run there. So I could just have the same players. Oh, and Soufal, the next 3. So not playing against United, Leeds, Brentford, Everton. It's fine. It's honest, like, so I'm not worried in the slightest. My only mistake, and I did pencil it in, I went for Raya over Guaita, and I think that is the one I should not have done. Thoughts on Ramsdale? No, because he could get dropped at any time for Leno. I mean, I can't remember where I've seen it, but it has said that Ramsdale's going to play 2 games, and then Leno's going to come back in. So, great price, 4.5 million, if he nails it, for sure. But he's not. Go Guaita. You feel the point ceiling of Bamford isn't that high. I agree, Rodrev. I'm not a huge fan. He's just, Leeds and him have not done anything. That's why I thought, bench Antonio, and I'm playing Soufal, and I'm just going to go like 5-4-1. It's going to be really defensive, or it's going to be 4-5-1. It's going to be a defensive week. I'm going to hope nothing happens. I'm just going to sit tight and bring Antonio back in next week. I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'll get Antonio back next time, and I'll get a Bamford who I'm not that keen on. I think Jimenez is a great shout. I really do. I just don't want to triple up on Wolves right now, personally. My 15. Yeah, well, I mean, my goalkeeper and Parika. Parika's not even in the country anymore. Comment on Semedo, please. Great. 4.9, good price. I went Cody for money, but I also went Cody because just like why I suggest Diaz. Boring, 90-minute defender who can pick up clean sheets. Simple as that. Semedo as well. Oh my God, he should have had like a hat-trick in the last game. And I honestly think Marcel owners are lucky that he hauled in the last game. I think he's very injury prone, and I think he is at risk of not starting. Like, if Connor Cody doesn't start for Wolves, me and Wolves fans would be a bit like, "Ooh, Cody's not playing. That's, he usually plays every minute." If Marcel is rested or doesn't play tomorrow, and it's like Alt Nori, no one's going to be like, oh, this is such a shock. So yeah, there you go. Matt Ritchie to bang today, starting in daily just for fun. My crazy punt is just like Tsimikas is going to play. That's my crazy prediction for the week. Tsimikas. All right. So I'm not gonna hang around for too much longer because I want to look at the fixtures. So let's just have this nice little graphic animation that I've been doing. And here are the fixtures. Newcastle, Leeds are first up. My prediction is going to be... this one's tough because Leeds haven't done anything that inspired me. I think Newcastle had a good period against Manchester United when they were level. I am going to say 1-1. I don't know. If Leeds sort it out and they can do what they did last year, it's a Leeds win 2-0. 3-0 maybe. I say this week in, week out, the most difficult team for me to predict is Leeds, because I never know what I'm going to get. So, yeah, I'm going to go for 1-1. I don't think it's going to be as amazing as people think it is. I hope it is, because I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll watch a game of football and be like, ooh, what a game. What a game. But it depends on the Leeds. If we get... I just don't know. I can never predict Leeds because I don't know what I'm going to get. So I'm going to say 1-1. Wolves 2, Brentford 0. Defensively, one of the best in the league so far. Attacking stat-wise, one of the best in the league so far. It's not going to take... When that clicks, if Traore gets 20 points tomorrow, something ridiculous. 1, I'll be extremely happy. And 2... the Wolves bandwagon is going to be massive. Everyone's going to see the green fixture ticker that Wolves have got. They're going to see the prices of the Wolves. If it's a clean sheet for Wolves, everyone's going to have a Wolves defender inside. They're all going to try and get Semedo. And I just think that they've got the better quality. Brentford have been very good defensively, only conceded a few goals. This could be the game where Wolves finally break through. I mean, they won 2-0 last time against Watford, but you get my point. Burnley, Arsenal. I just still think Arsenal look awful. People are like singing the praises because they had loads of shots against Norwich. Well done. You beat Norwich 1-0, fellow relegation candidates at the bottom of the table, at home, and you beat them 1-0. I think Burnley's gonna win 2-1 or 2-0. Burnley are like my team Bolton, what we used to be to Arsenal. They don't like being kicked. They don't like being hit. So I just think they're going to poo house them. I want to keep it PG rating, but if you change poo to an expletive, I think Burnley's going to poo house Arsenal. I think they're gonna go in hard. They're going to go old school on Arsenal, and they're going to win 2-0. Liverpool Palace. I'm hoping for a clean sheet. Palace are improving. I'm going to say 2-0 Liverpool. Man City, Southampton. Always going to back Man City at home, to be honest, in a game like this. Could Southampton do a surprise? No, they've not showed me anything to make me think otherwise. I'm going to say 3-1. City accidentally let in a goal. Pep's furious, and he shouts at someone at the end. Norwich, Watford. Oh, who cares? Who cares, honestly? Like, people actually, no, I'll take that back, guys. People will care this week because you'll have 4 million. I already know some of you guys in the chat care. You'll have a 4 million Brandon Williams coming in for a benched Antonio, or you're going to have a Dennis coming in for a benched Antonio. So, actually, for a lot of you guys, you do care. I don't. Norwich 0, Watford 0. Worst game of the weekend. It's going to be so funny if it's like a 5-4 bonanza. But come on, like, Norwich have got to win. So I'm going to say, okay, Norwich 1-0. Norwich 1-0. But let's be honest, guys. If there's one game you don't want to watch this week, it's Norwich-Watford. Poo of the week. That's what that is. Villa-Everton, I think it's going to be mega tight. I'm going to go 1-1 here. I think without DCL, that changes their plans. Interested to see if Rondon just goes straight in and fills in for Calvert-Lewin's position, or if they mix it up a bit because Rondon's not ready. I'm going to go 1-1 for that. I think they're quite evenly matched. Brighton-Leicester. Leicester are usually so good, and they've been so disappointing the start of this season. But have they turned it around? I don't know. 2-1 Leicester. I'm going to go Leicester for that one. I'm going to go United win here. I'm going to say... Now, this one's difficult. I think West Ham have been fantastic last season. I think they've been fantastic this season. They're at home, but they are leaky. They have conceded goals. They conceded goals against Palace. They didn't even score. There was a 0-0 against Southampton. The thing, and the reason why I said about West Ham is why I didn't want to get any more of them in my side, and I've only got Soufal, is they're the kind of team that they'll be wonderful, great football, fantastic stuff, and then out of nowhere, they'll just go off a cliff, and their form will just absolutely nosedive, and they won't get a win in like 5 games. I don't know why. It's just that's how I feel about West Ham. But Manchester United are equally able to recently throw stuff away. 2-2. West Ham 2, Man United 2. I think United are going to score. West Ham are going to come back. United are going to score again, and then West Ham are going to equalise. It's going to equal. Spurs, Chelsea. We already took... Matt said what I was going to say. I think it's going to be a professional game of football from Chelsea, and I think it's going to be like 2-0. Or 2-1 even. Maybe give Spurs a goal. No Jean-Min Son. Big problems for Spurs. And no Bergwijn as well could be big problems. Makeshift defence. But I don't see a route. I don't see a 6-0 Chelsea thumping. Like we talked about earlier, I think Chelsea go ahead and get 1 or 2 goals. Dominate possession. See it out. Walk away with 3 points and a thank you very much will go to like the top of the table. That's how I feel about that. Yeah, 2-0 or 2-1 Chelsea, I think, in that. And I hope it's 2-1 with someone like Rondon getting a goal for Spurs, just because it'll help my rank for Chelsea not to get a clean sheet. It's as selfish as that, guys. Let's just check in with the chat before we go. 2-3 leads, 2-2 neither team good defense. ASM to go mental. Bring him in then, Matt. 2-0 to Wolves. I agree. 4-3 leads. Possible. Norwich, Watford, UK. That's exactly what I say. Yeah, people get, yeah. Of course you get. People are begging for 4 million players to get clean sheets. I hope it's horrible, guys. I really do. If people bench Antonio and they scrape points from Norwich and Watford players or horrible bench fodder to cover Antonio, oh, that's just so jammy. So jammy. Mora and Berg went out. Yeah, maybe. If they are out, big trouble. They're going to be toothless. That's why I just think it's going to be like 2-0 Chelsea. Saw or Shaw, Luke Shaw. I just don't back Watford. I don't back newly promoted sides. I've got the Brentford goalkeeper, and that's more than enough for me. Thank you very much. I don't want any more. All right. So, one last look at the team, guys. This is it. This is how I'm heading in. You can see I'm begging, praying, hoping, and believing that Simicast is going to get a run out. If not, I think I'm going to stick with Brownhill against Soufal. I'm going to back the idea that Burnley are going to win like 1-0. Brownhill's going to whip in a corner, and Tarkowski is going to nod one in, and then they're just going to waste time for the rest of the game. And Soufal's great. West Ham are great. I just see United scoring, so then I'm hoping Soufal gets an assist. And without Antonio in the box and only Souček to really aim for, that might change. That's my only decision I need to make with this side. Salah's my captain. Ronaldo's my vice. That ain't changing. So the only thing I need to think is who is going to be... Simicast isn't going to play, let's be honest. It's going to be Brownhill or Soufal. And yeah, if Brownhill's on corners, I think I'm just going to go for Brownhill. Go for the attacker. Let's go for it. Yeah, Rafinha is doubtful. We heard the rumours too. And if that's the case, I've got Brownhill and Soufal coming off the bench. So my -4 would have been worth it because I wouldn't have had enough players playing. So there you go. Yeah. Soufal over Brownhill. Yeah, but he's against Arsenal. I'm not backing Arsenal, but there you have it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I don't think I'm on the scout video on Monday next week. I don't know. Maybe the week after. But if not, I'll be still here on Fridays. So hopefully I'll see you next week. I'll try and get a video out as well next week. Just a normal team review one. But we'll see how it is. If people just like the streams, I'll just stick to the streams. And if people want to stay on Fridays, just before we go, is Fridays like the best day for most people, especially like the long-term people in the chat who I talk to a lot week in, week out. Is Fridays like the best day for you? Because like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If there is a different day that people are interested in during the week, it doesn't have to be Friday. Yeah, let me know. But whichever day. We'll keep it Friday for now. But if people are like, oh, let's just do it on Wednesdays instead, then we'll do it on Wednesdays, something like that. So take it easy, guys. Good luck. Don't be too crazy. No, I like go crazy. Go take hits. Have an attack. If you've got your wild card, hold nothing back. Take it easy, guys. Have a good weekend. And I'll see you soon. Take care, guys.